Hi, this is Paul Clark from YOUSRC at www.yousource.com. In this example video, I want to talk about functions, which is how you break your software into manageable chunks, and local variables, which is a different type of variable than we've seen previously. This is where you just want the computer to remember things within a certain function. So all of this is found in example 03 called functions. And here there's a little thumbnail that shows you that when this program is run, it will say, "Hello world, the sum is 30, yes it really is." And we'll run that a bit later on. But let's have a look at the code. I'll just scroll down through the comments, you can read those later. Okay, so we've got a function called start, and if you look above that, we haven't actually got any global variables defined like we did in the last example. This time we've got a function called start, and that is the chunk of code within the open curly bracket, close curly bracket. Then we've got more functions. We've got a function called double and add, and that takes two numbers. And then we've got a function called join words, and that takes two variables that are word variables. If you remember, if you put a dollar on the end of a variable name, then it means it stores words, not numbers. So let's take a look at how this works. So let's take a look at function start. Function start declares local variables num1, num2 and sum, and that's just to remind you that you can put them on one line with commas in between, or you can put them on separate lines, and those are used for storing numbers. And then there's a local variable called sentence $, and the dollar on the end means it's a variable used for storing words. We call gfx write line and pass it the words hello world. So we've done that many times before, haven't we? And that just displays hello world on the screen. And then we say let num1 equals 5, and that's going to store the number 5 in num1. Let num2 equals 20, and that's going to store the number 20 in num2. And this is the first new piece of code for you. This is a call to a function called double and add. And you can call functions anything, you know, letters and numbers and so on. I quite like to put capital letters on the beginning of each word in a function so that you can read it easier. Double and add. You're going to pass in our two local variables, num1 and num2, and that means that when you call double and add down here, num1 is going to now appear as a variable called a, and num2 as a variable called b. And when a variable is inside these brackets and is passed to a function, it's often, in programming language, it's often called parameters. So we've got a parameter called a that's going to come in with the number 5, and because that's what the value of num1 is. And we've got a parameter called b that's going to come in with the value of num2, which is 20. Let's just keep going down through here. There is a global variable defined for you, so you won't see it declared up here in the ELK language called retval, and there's another one called retval$, and those are commonly used to return values back from functions. So here we then say let sum equals retval, and after calling this function join words, where we're passing in yes it and really is, we say let sentence $, equals retval$. So that's going to store the return value from this function in our variable called sentence $. And then we just display the result, and we did this last time. gfx write sum is, gfx write line sum, so that's going to put whatever value sum is on the end of that line and move to the next line because it's called write line. gfx write line sentence $. So there's our main function. It's going to set up some numbers, it's going to call some functions, and it's going to display the result. This function, double and add, takes a and doubles it, let retval equals a times 2, and then adds b on the end, let retval equals retval plus b. And this function is going to do a very simple bit of addition of the two words, $a plus $b, and store that in retval$. So take a look at this and explore it, because it does introduce new ideas of functions and passing numbers in. But if we run it, we should see the result we expected. Hello world, the sum is 30, yes it really is. Any questions, please get in touch.